welcome everybody to the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community here on the Rope Break Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jean-Paul Leek, and of course here with Juan, like always. And we got a lot to cover today, and Royal Rumble, the weekly shows, all that stuff. But it's one of those things where tell me, are you excited for the Royal Rumble? Because I don't know if it's just I was maybe too wrapped up in NFL playoffs this year or what it was, but I knew Royal Rumble was coming up. I know it's always at the end of January. Maybe I didn't realize we're so close to the end of January, but then all of a sudden it was Raw 30, which we're going to talk about, some of the highlights. But then all of a sudden it's like, man, this is a go-home week for Royal Rumble. It's this Saturday, so it almost snuck up on me. So I don't know if that maybe doesn't feel as exciting as it used to, but it's still my favorite pay-per-view, I think, even more so than WrestleMania, because it's not as long as WrestleMania, especially being 2 nights. But, tell me, how are you feel? Are you excited for Royal Rumble? What's going on?
Family, welcome. And Jean-Paul, thank you for, another show. And yes, of course, I mean, I'm not as caught up as you are with the NFL playoffs. Like, we want the 49ers to just, crash. No. We want to, we're going to take a shot at, like, a team that, is, number one seeded and everything. But the 49ers, maybe they can give us, the surprise. But, we're not talking about the NFL. But, really excited for the Royal Rumble just because it's the beginning of the WrestleMania season. And, there's always, surprises. Like, a lot of people are saying CM Punk might be the one entrance that nobody knows about. They caught him in a picture that he's gonna go to San Antonio, Texas. Maybe, you never know. And that's the thing, the expectation, the surprise factor, who's gonna show up, who's not gonna show up. Cody Rhodes coming back, of course, they spoiled that. So it's been, a really cool week. Just also, like you said, Raw 30th, maybe not as what everybody expected. A lot of recyclable things that we saw on Raw 25, but we're here to talk about all of that.
People thought we were gonna see, Lita and Edge 2.0 because it was Raw Triple X. They thought we were going to see some porn. Yeah, they're like, what? This is what's going on.
It would have been a lot better, a lot more, viewership.
Where's Lana and Bobby Lashley?
Exactly. So we will see about family. Paul, let's start right quick with, Smackdown. This show was opened by, Sami Zayn and also, the Jey Uso. They have still this friendship that happened from the trial of Roman Reigns and the bloodline against Sami Zayn. They're like, oh, the tribal chief told you not to be here. Fuck off, be away. But no, that doesn't have happening. Sammy, they say, no, I'm going to help you guys out. I'm going to be here. I want to show my loyalty. All of that. That was how the show started. The first thing that, I don't like about the show is because the way that Karrion Kross, one of the guys that was the first surprises from Triple H making his return, Rey Mysterio beats him up. So, I don't know, Paul, but, this situation with Karrion Kross already being jobbed out, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe he will be the surprise in the Royal Rumble, but I'm not really excited with this stuff because, Rey Mysterio is great, legend, but, it's not the time for him to be winning matches unless you're going to do something with the guy. That's at least what I can tell you on that.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, the only thing carrying this show, really is the bloodline. And, you talked on here, we're going to talk about what led this, the Raw 30th, the trial of Sami Zayn and everything. And it's going to be put to the test in the Royal Rumble. And, further on, I think all the way up until WrestleMania. But other than that, no, I mean, nothing on this show makes sense. It's 50-50 booking here with Mysterio. 1 week he gets beat up, he looks like shit. Karrion looks good. Now Karrion loses, and it's like, I don't know, nobody cares. And I mean, what do you think? At least when he was bald, he looked menacing and he looked evil. Now with the hair, he looks like just...
It's the haircut, it's very I look cute, it's not as deadly or
that's what I mean. He just looks like a normal, I shouldn't say a normal guy. Yeah, but threat, he looks, I don't know.
That's the one thing, the mismanagement that this current creative team have with certain superstars. Karrion Kross was a character you're supposed to protect him the way that they did on NXT. That didn't have happening. Brock Lesnar showed up to keep up with this rivalry, to keep adding more fuel to what's going to happen between Bobby Lashley and him. Is it going to happen at the Royal Rumble? Maybe the two of them will eliminate each other, Paul. That is maybe a situation, maybe it's a possibility that it can happen. But Bobby Lashley had come out to save the New Day from The Miz and Austin Theory. Absolutely, those, type of segments kill it because The Miz is the only thing that I never done is win the Royal Rumble match. So you're trying to tell me that you're going to be the winner. That's not going to happen. Brock Lesnar in the end, he keeps doing that. He keeps showing up because the match at WrestleMania, it seems that it's going to be Brock Lesnar and also Bobby Lashley. Lacey Evans came back one more time. She's healed, new outfits. She had a wardrobe malfunction. Of course, that's Lacey Evans, Paul. How long is this going to last? Is she going to be part of the Royal Rumble? Maybe, but in the end, that's one of the characters that every time that she tries to get a little bit of momentum, it's like, nope, we're going to cut you down, or I'm going to cut myself out because I'm going to get pregnant. So 9 months from now, you're not going to know who I am and all of that stuff. Paul, This was interesting at least because LA Knight comes out. He is the one that has the Bray Wyatt outfit. All of that is I'm going to beat you in the Royal Rumble. This is the stuff. I'm tired that you just mock me and also make fun of me, offend me because of what happened on Raw 30 with The Undertaker. And Bray Wyatt comes out. He says you're going to finally meet me at the Royal Rumble. And Uncle Howdy shows up. So this is okay, but then this needs to turn into something better because the story itself is to me already too boring and too just more like a cartoonish thing, and I don't like this. I don't know how you feel about this, but I do not like the way that they're handling Bray Wyatt. Although the only thing I'll say, LA Knight is trying his best with what he's giving. He's trying to look serious.
And I see, the one thing I see from the WWE, I guess you call them diehards or the Bray Wyatt fans or the people that at least like this stuff. They're saying, "Oh man, this LA Knight guy's really good. He's really good on the mic." This is the first time that people are seeing him because maybe they don't watch NXT, and before this he was the maximum male model, all that garbage. But like you said, he's doing his best to sell this thing. But I mean, come on, it's a Mountain Dew match, Mountain Pitch Black match. It has a sponsor. This is like in the 90s when they did the Karate Fighter match, from the action figures, or this is the Mountain, it's anything that's a sponsor match. It's Bray Wyatt's first match. This isn't going to end well for LA Knight. It's gimmick to shit. I don't know. We haven't seen Bray wrestle in how long? The little interaction on Raw 30 doesn't mean anything to me. More people are talking about, is he going to have a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania than they are this match. So, I don't know. This is one of the things where, I don't know. It might be cool visually, but in the scheme of wrestling, no, it doesn't fit.
In the scheme of the sport, like you said, some people love this cartoonish thing. I really don't, because again, they went way too long with this. The only thing, again, I gotta praise LA Knight because again, he's trying his best to at least sell his character, to look serious, to look like a prick, to look like, hey, you don't mess with me, I'm better than you, and all of that stuff. That's at least what he's trying. Hey, is he gonna accomplish that? We don't know yet. The bracket for the tag team number one contenders tournament is finally coming to the end, and we're gonna see Braun Strowman and Ricochet, absolutely the worst team. I don't know what the pair of even works going against Imperium. If anything, Paul, I would love Imperium just to win. I know that the tag team champions in the Usos are heel, but at least it makes sense that two guys that are actually a tag team rather than Braun Strowman and Ricochet that nobody gives a damn. Another misuse on Ricochet, even Braun Strowman. I mean, not that I'm a fan, I don't really care for the guy. I don't really know what you can do with the guy if you bring him back and then all of a sudden you don't know what to do with the guy. Oh, the match with Omas. After that, nothing. Brock Lesnar, maybe Bobby Lashley, anything, nothing. So that's what we got. And then in the main event, Solo Sikoa went against Kevin Owens. We had a good match. Sami Zayn gets involved in all the match, interference and all of that. And then Solo ends up super kicking Sami Zayn, and that allows Kevin Owens to take the advantage. He puts Solo Sikoa rather through a table, and then we get to see this visual. The friends. Are they really friends, Paul? Are they against each other, or are they just playing? So this is what pretty much was Smackdown. Go home show for what is going to be the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things here. If Imperium do become the new SmackDown Tag Champs, I think that'll be good, especially if Walter is still the Intercontinental Champion. All of them having gold will be legit. But no, Strowman, if you're going to use him, he's best as a rare appearance, a gimmick, or bury him in a tag with somebody who can work, like Ricochet. Because otherwise, you expose him that he can only do three things. And one of them is raise his hands and yell. The other one is run around the ring, and then he can hit his finish. And
the power slam and done.
And that's it. He's not very good in the ring. He's not going to get any better. He is what he is. And, they chose to bring him back. So here they are. You saw Drew and Sheamus, they forfeited. I don't know what they were injured, what that, storyline was.
The bangers.
But, yeah, the Bang Bros, but...
the Bang Bros, yes.
But, I mean, no, they're another one. Why are they in a tag? It's so dumb. So there's some good on SmackDown, but not very much of it. Again, mainly carried by the Bloodline. And like I said to you, when this went off the air, you go, man, I can't wait for tomorrow to watch the Rumble.
No.
That's what I mean. These shows did nothing to get you excited for the Royal Rumble, but the Royal Rumble and the history of the pay-per-view itself is really the only thing that got me excited. I will say, besides the Cody vignettes. Now, we'll talk about Cody, in a little bit when we talk about
when we do the Rumble,
predictions.
when they hold the whole Rumble, yes.
But I mean, I'll just mention it now. I wish maybe they didn't show it and he was just a straight up surprise. But I think maybe they didn't do that because they might have a bunch of other surprises, and it's like, well, we don't want, multiple surprises. It doesn't make them feel as special. So let's do this for Cody. We'll make it feel legit. They showed him training and it felt like a legit, how an MMA fighter or how a real, fighter, a boxer would be training and rehabbing and trying to get back. So it makes Cody feel legit. So, if he does good or wins or whatever, again, we'll talk about our previews and predictions and all that, but it makes him feel legit, not somebody goofy like The Miz or The New Day, like, oh, I'm gonna win. No, you're not. Shut up.
Exactly.
But Cody, it makes you feel like he has a real chance.
Absolutely. So that's pretty much what it was, SmackDown, and I agree with you. Like Cody Rhodes, they're spoiling that. I mean, if he wins is the only thing, but like a lot of people also are saying because Triple H, remember, like Shinsuke Nakamura going against the Great Muta. So like they had like this thing, like, and maybe they're in negotiations. They're saying some of them, Kazuchika Okada might be in the Royal Rumble. You never know. Hey, like that's the only thing that keeps the Rumble alive, the surprise factor. So, let's talk about now, Paul, like you said, Raw 30th. The show opened up by the Huckster. I don't care for the guy, and neither, I think, the Philadelphia crowd. I mean, cool that they have it on, in Pennsylvania, in our state. And, of course, the microphone didn't work. They had a lot of, sound problems. And, of course, Jimmy Hart, all of a sudden, remember when we actually met Jimmy Hart, he was absolutely dying. He was in his deathbed. He had, 2 more days of living. And now, all of a sudden, he walks, he jumps and all of that, him out of this house. I don't know what they gave him. Maybe, maybe some Vicodin or some, I don't know what kind of opium they gave him.
The green, the 1, the 2, the 3,
yeah, I don't know what kind of thing they gave him, but the house they started to show, do I really care for that? I don't think so.
No.
Anytime Hulk Hogan is on, my love for wrestling actually decreases, more and more and more. But the thing that they had with the Roman Reigns trial, did you like that? I think it went a little too long, a lot.
Yeah, I liked it, but
it was decent.
Way too long because they milk the entrances. If they know they have a lot of dialogue, a lot of stuff they have to say, and video packages they have to show for the whole, the sketch or the segment, or however you want to call it. Don't milk the entrances. Just walk with a purpose. Get right to the ring, or maybe have them stand in the ring and do the entrance before the show goes on the air. And when Raw starts, maybe don't do Hogan introduce. Maybe have it right to Bloodlines, out there, and then Hogan could come out after that, or so, I don't know, do something, whatever. But no, the segment was good. I liked it. Roman, the way Heyman turned on him. He's like, oh, you're bullshit. ECW's dead. Like Sami Zayn should be dead. And then he's like, oh, I was your schmoolie. I was your little schmoolie. Now you want to kill me? Sami's all upset. I mean, this was good. They showed the video where it's like, oh, did Sami let Roman get beat up? And did he, do this and that? And then he's like, he wants Solo to take him out. But then Jimmy stops him, or Jay stops him. I think it is. Was it? No, it was Jimmy.
Yeah, it was Jay who stopped him. It was Jay, the one that he showed the
Jay
other
stopped
evidence.
him, and then he showed the counter evidence, and then by this point it was running really long, and you could even tell Jay's like, oh, blah 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 blah. He's talking like a motor mouth. He's trying to get through it. They quick show the video, this and that, and then a match breaks out and all this stuff, and it was such a long segment. And I mean, I'm sure you guys saw it. Raw 30 had huge numbers of attendance. Everybody was watching it. They wanted to see the legends, everything they were doing. So you saw, Jay went out. I think, Jimmy. Who got hurt? Well, Jimmy got hurt.
I think it was Jimmy. Yeah. And then Sammy filled in.
Sammy filled in.
Match with the Judgment Day. In the end, Sammy is the one that ended up pulling the match, and all of that. They get the championship. But at least they keep playing that thing that we've said that in previous videos, we said that at some point Roman Reigns and Sammy are gonna go at it. You kind of they told me that it might be for the Elimination Chamber. there you go. So at least it's like, the story.
And
keeps
because
going.
of this, then the women's match, another big match advertised was Bayley and Becky. The steel cage. Oh my God, first time with women in a steel cage on Raw in so many years, something like that. And the match didn't even happen. So that was a big disappointment to the people that paid to see that. And I'm sure there was some. You might laugh at that comment, but I'm sure there were some people who paid, and that was one of the main things they wanted to go see, especially female fans. They got completely gypped. Bayley and her crew completely jumped Becky beat the shit out of her, and the match was cut short. And not even cut short. The match didn't happen because the Bloodline segment ran long and everything, this and that, and you had to do the Hulkster, so all this stuff. So you really got to think, is you pop a rating for 1 week, and that looks good, but is it really worth it to make your current talent all kind of look like shit? That's
exactly.
Really
at that expense, you're not going to do that. I agree with you. So also, this was I don't know.
No, this was bad.
This was bad. That was like the same thing. The X comes out. Of course, there's no Billy Gunn, so they had Kurt Angle miss in this. I don't know why. Not even getting his own music like he did in the chat, like the whole DX thing. Imperium came out. That was at least the one thing I like is that made me laugh is Triple H, it is the stare down and everything. It's like, no, I'm retired. I'm not doing it. So Shawn Michaels goes, not me either. It's Pac the same thing. So it's like, oh, we wish we have a team. And then of course Seth Rollins, and then we get to see the Street Profits, all of that stuff. That is when for me it dies. It dies, and they have
but what else? This segment was doomed as soon. To me, it was dead and doomed as soon as Imperium's music hits, because either Imperium's gonna beat up these guys, which they should have done, but can really any of them take bumps besides Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. It's like, what the heck? But it would have been good heat, or you had these guys beat up Imperium, which there's no way in hell you do that, because then Imperium looks like then they might as well go to AEW if they get beat up by these 60-year-olds.
Yes.
That would be embarrassing. So you don't want to see that either. So this segment was doomed to fail, and then the Street Profits came out. They got some sort of pop, but really, does anybody care about them? They are the most WWE tag team I've ever seen. They're soon to be the New Day. They need to get fresh. Like the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and the Hardys, they evolved, they changed, they had attitudes, they grew.
They were healed, they were babyface.
These are the same guys. These are the same guys in NXT as soon as they appeared on TV as they are now. Completely the fucking same. They didn't change one iota. So to me, they're boring. Seth Rollins also comes out. It's like, and he makes it so corny. If only somebody would come out, and then somebody comes out. It was so dumb. And then
it was bad. It was bad. I didn't like that at all. What really was something that, like you said, for example, just to see the Undertaker come out as the American Badass. I liked it just because of the music. They had finally the rights to play Kid Rock's American Badass, this song. But like you said, it was doomed for a lot of people because the bike didn't even work. So he's like, so I don't even know how to do this. And is this the presence of the Undertaker? Is it helping out to make the match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight better?
And you have LA Knight. The LA Knight's like, oh, I could bury the Undertaker, or he makes some kind of joke. Ha ha ha. No, I'm just kidding. Like, he's pretty much saying like, oh, I could kick your ass. And nobody wants to hear that or see that. And it's like, because in reality, we're like, he might be able to, because Taker's so old. In his heyday, no, Taker would kick the shit out of him, but right now, he might have a shot, so and it's so weird. And he gets him in the goozle, and then you think he's gonna just choke slam him, but then he throws him to Bray Wyatt, and then Bray hits the Sister Abigail, and then we see this. And what did he say? Everybody, that's what people are freaking out. What did he say? Is this a match at WrestleMania? And that's what they want. They want people to be intrigued, to be talking, to be, oh, what's going on? But it's not anything. And if they have a match, it's not going to be very good. And you know what? We've already seen it.
Yeah, we saw it already in WrestleMania 31, so who cares? The Undertaker
That's what I'm saying.
won.
Yeah.
Who cares now? To me, again, the reason that they just do all this Legends crap just to pop the crowd. But like, does it really, like, the Godfather pop, No. Ric Flair, of course, like, they're doing Ric Flair also. Charlotte came out and all that, and Sonya Deville, all that stuff.
That was a
documentary on Peacock.
That was a decent segment for Flair, even though she's on SmackDown. He didn't come out and he wasn't like, oh, Lacey Evans, you're hot, or he wasn't being horny. He wasn't being, he came out, legit. I'm Ric Flair. I mean, he was in a crazy suit, but whatever. He came out. I'm Ric Flair. He introduced Charlotte because Charlotte's baby face. It was legit. And then, Sonya interrupted, but whatever. But I mean, that was fine for Ric Flair. That I was okay with. There's certain things for the legends, you keep it short and you keep it sweet. But I mean, they always got to do the poker game. You always got to hear Ron Simmons say, damn. It's the same stuff. I don't care. And I don't care.
And it's the same legends, bro. Like, that's another problem. It's the same guys. It's like, you got to bring me different people. That way it's like, it's variety.
And I'm not saying this, and I'm not saying this to be insensitive, because we're going to talk about, Jay, a little bit with Jay Briscoe, but what are they going to do if some of these legends, the select handful that they have, what if some of them start dying? If they're all getting old, are they not going to have Legends Night anymore? And are they going to have to pay The Rock, $7 billion to appear on TV for 10 minutes?
It seems that
like what
John
the heck
Cena right now, to just be because he's a legend now. But I don't know. And also, like, for example, like you said, like the Dame is the same things. There was a lot of like a resentment from the women's. Because they really didn't portray, they didn't have a lot of like women's legends. The Bella Twins were invited, it seems, but they turned it down, knowing that they were not going to be used correctly. There you go. There's always a little bit of controversy. So they have heat with them. Also, like somebody that a lot of people wanted to see was Mick Foley. Another thing, like it seems like he has backstage heat. I don't know what Mick said or did, but like there you go. They don't want to like relate with him. I don't know. They're like, what happened with Mick? This was a good match. Austin Theory, like I said, they're doing their best work right now with Austin Theory. Like, the beard, like you said, he looks more like a man. He's serious. No bullshit. Just, hey, I'm going to go out there and show that I'm the best wrestler right here. Bobby Lashley, the almighty, great stuff with him. He's finally back. And the match, I thought he was going to win the championship. But, of course, the thing is not about this, too. The thing is like about Brock Lesnar, because he came out and cost Bobby Lashley the match. And because of that, Austin Theory was able to retain. So that, again, more fuel. They keep adding more layers to this Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, because they want WrestleMania to be probably one of the biggest and more important matches in the card over there. So that was good. That was like everything that it was for Raw 30th. We got to see the American Badass leaving. But again, go and tell me a little bit about this.
I mean, like
Lesnar
I said, overall, good match. Lesnar came out. I figured there wasn't going to be a winner. They're going to milk this, like you said, at least into the Royal Rumble afterwards. They're doing right by Austin Theory now. I don't think they're going to play hot potato with the belt. I think he's going to hold it for a while. Like I said, the story is, I think, this feud. Because some people said, are they going to do Lesnar versus Gunther or Walter at WrestleMania? And I mean, that still might happen, but at the same time, no, I don't know if you want Brock Lesnar going after the IC title. We've never seen him go after a so-called mid-card belt. We've never seen him do that, really. So I don't know if you'd want to see him do that now. So I don't know. I mean, if Walter would beat him, it would make him go over. But I mean, I think the main money feud, because Lashley got hurt last time. You want to see these two kind of finish off their feud. That's what really this is all stemming from. So this is good. And hey, if you can have these guys in a high-profile match that people are interested, because they're going to beat the shit out of each other on WrestleMania, and there's no title involved, and like I said, people are invested, then you did your job. And I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, so like pretty much that's what happened, John Paul. So let's talk about what happened in AEW, because of course we had the news about Jay Briscoe passing, and that was like just really tragic, especially the way, the fashion that unfortunately took place. But they had a really great video package as a tribute for him. All the superstars acknowledging how good of a guy he was, like the personality, and a guy that just like all of us love professional wrestling. And unfortunately his life was cut short due to like an accident that also like the other car that hit, and like the collision, both the people that were actually driving. Unfortunately they're not here with us, but a lot of people just showing about the great life that this guy had, all the impact that he did, with like family, friends, the wrestlers. Kevin Owens has been paying tribute to Seth Rollins, everybody. So really good way to start the show. Tony Khan did a lot of, a lot of talk, a lot of business with Warner to be able to have this on the show, and also to be able to have the match with his brother against Jay Lethal. So Paul, this was great, and just to see, how much love in between these guys, with FTR and all the love that like Jay Briscoe had is absolutely great.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was the main reason and really the only thing that I watched on Dynamite. Just everything involving Jay, Mark Briscoe, that tribute. I mean, last week, that was the big controversy. They had the show afterwards, the tribute show. They had a bunch of matches and everything, and they were going to stream it right afterwards, and the network said, no, you're not streaming it. They were still upset with what Jay Briscoe had said, many years ago. Even though he went to sensitivity training, he donated to charities publicly, apologized. He did everything he could besides rewind time and not do it, not tweet what he tweeted, but, they still said no. So lots of backlash. And I think a lot of that backlash with Tony Khan being persistent, saying no, look at this backlash, look at all this, look how passionate these fans are, look how passionate my wrestlers are, look how passionate my employees are. They're angry about this. They're passionate. They love this guy. They say how great he was. So I'm glad they did this to show. And I like how some people said, oh, it should have opened the show. I like how it was the main event. I thought that was cool. I like how they showed the video package. It kind of was like the whole show kind of led you up to it. It was really good. Great match. Obviously, Jay Lethal's one of the best, wrestlers that they have here in AEW. Mark Briscoe's great. I mean, great tag team. I hope they do something with him. I'm not saying make him AEW
He has
champ.
beautiful teeth, by the way. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, that shows that he put his time in. I seen a match where he had those teeth. So, I mean, I don't think it was always like that. But it's one of those things where you don't want to say, oh, make this guy AEW champ, because then it feels like an Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero story. And that's not what he would want. That's not what Jay, any of them would want. But, I mean, it's one of those things where you hope they use this guy when and if he wants to come back. Maybe he wants to keep wrestling, keep his mind off things. Maybe he wants to spend time with the family. Who knows? But, I mean, great match. I loved the ending, holding up both belts. That was cool. And
also,
good.
Jay Lethal was in tears the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta applaud. You gotta applaud Tony Khan and everything. I mean, you ask so many people. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not gonna pretend I am. I'm not super versed into the Ring of Honor library and everything like that. I know a lot of their wrestlers. I know, names of pay-per-views. Big matchups when they might have took place, this and that. But I mean, they say like Jay Briscoe. Like if you say, in their history and their limited roster compared to like a WWE, he's up there number 1 or number 2 for like overall, like who are people who carried this company.
Yeah.
So
and like you said, the Briscoes were like, the idea of it, like they said that like they wanted like the 3 teams that they wanted like to build the tag team division at the beginning of AEW was the Briscoes. They wanted, of course, the Bucks and also like the Lucha Brothers. They wanted all of them. Unfortunately, what you mentioned before, that's the reasons that they have to be banned from TV. I think all the work that Tony Khan has done is like Mark is not going to do one appearance only. I think he's like you said, every once in a while that he's ready, he wants to do something. He's going to be part of the show. No more restrictions. So that's really great. And like you said, there's applause, a lot of kudos.
Yes, and the tribute show is on. But I know it's on their app, the Ring of Honor app.
And on YouTube,
I also believe it's up on the YouTube as well.
It's going to be on YouTube, and it's a 3-hour special, and they got a lot of matches, and of course tribute to what it was like the life of Jay Briscoe. Also, like what we saw on Dynamite, we got with good matches. We're going to see this next week. Adam Hangman Page going against Jon Moxley. This is going to be another match. They're going to have another thing. We'll see what happens here because it's been a long rivalry due to the injuries, due to the controversies. This is going to be interesting at least to watch. Paul Timothy Thatcher is going to be part of AEW. He's going to be making his debut. There you go, a guy that we know from NXT, also from the days of Ring of Honor, MLW, New Japan. So this is going to be a good match with Bryan Danielson. And this is one of the last obstacles that he's going to have to get to MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So this is going to be really good. And Paul, this match, hope Samoa Joe finally gets his revenge and he's able to get the TNT Championship from Darby Allin, because I don't know, he's not a credible champion to me, despite the good match that we had with the Matthews or like Buddy Murphy on those days. So yeah, pretty much that was Dynamite. The show is decent, and of course, like Jay, like that, the tribute made it even better. So I mean, I feel that like what we're going to see in Revolution is going to be better. It's going to be, I think, the thing with Saraya and Tony Storm being healed, Jamie Hayter. There's a lot of decent themes of Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing I watched in the show was Jay Briscoe. tribute everything. I mean, the Danielson MJF feud I'm interested in that. Don't really care about anything else. The women's division to me is absolute shit. I mean, they're completely lost. They really only have one woman that I would say could hold a candle in the WWE's women's division, and that would maybe be like I shouldn't say that, but, at least that they're using right now, maybe one or two, that is really ready to be on TV the way that they're presenting them. Because a lot of these other women, they need some
For
work.
example, like we saw the main event of Rampage right now as we speak was Jamie Hayter defending the AEW World Women's Championship, going against one of the Japanese wrestlers. I don't really care for that. Nobody really wants to see that. I don't know. Is it like the division is in some aspects is not improving, is not getting there. But despite of that, at least what we saw on the end, the last thing we saw on Dynamite, this made it everything worth it.
Yeah,
so we'll see. Good. I mean, if he becomes part of the roster, he keeps having matches, or like you said, it will be really cool that he goes with the Bucks, and Kenny Omega, he goes, with the FTR, and then they're able to win the Trios Championship. That will be a great tribute for them. That was your idea. So if that happens, you can go to Jean-Paul Egg and tell him, hey, Paul, thanks for the booking right there. But now, Paul, let's switch gears and let's talk about the Royal Rumble, because like you